I'm going to share with you something that will change the way you buy your rug from a cleaning standpoint. I'm going to start off by saying that I am a house cleaner and not a carpet cleaner, and there is a difference in those. Some do it all, but I stay right in my lane of deep, detailed house cleaning. But with my experience of cleaning, it wasn't too hard for me to maneuver into cleaning my own rug.
However, I will say this. I really am happy with the results, but the way I went about doing it was challenging and comical.
If I was to claim to be an expert, I would be lying, but I would say I've done this once, I will do it again. This is my process. Let's begin.
So first thing you want to do is remove the rug, obviously. And I brought it outside, and I wish I would have picked a better location to start. You'll see me move it, but for now we'll start with the first step, which is vacuuming and removing all of the debris from the rug. If you're not able to vacuum outside, I would recommend vacuuming inside before you bring it out, or shake it out really, really well. It kind of depends on your rug, but as you can see here, I decided to vacuum because, well, I love my vacuum. So once I finish vacuuming, the next step is you want to rinse down the rug. Now, if you don't have a great water source, that can be a problem. The last thing I would recommend was get a bucket and use that way. I just don't think you'd be able to get it as well, and I almost wouldn't even do it if that's the case. However, you can use a hose, a power washer, or you could just go to your local car wash DIY area and roll it up, put it in the back of your car, and pull it out there where they have those drains. So the next I'm using just water and dish soap and a scrubby brush, and I'm working in all of the soap into the rug and trying to loosen up all of the crud that's in the rug. All of the rug, and get into all of the fibers in between all and really scrub away and give it a really nice clean. While I'm sitting here scrubbing away, my advice for you would be to start your rug first thing in the morning, so that way once you're done and you hang it to dry, it will be able to dry in the hot sun all day, and you might be able to get it in by the end of the day. Another thing I would recommend is checking the weather to make sure that you're not choosing a day where it could possibly rain, you've got a clean rug and it rains on it. And a rug can take up to 3 days to dry depending on the size and the rug and how you're hanging it. Mine actually took about 12 hours, and I got close with time. I knew it was going to rain the next day. I should have started this in the morning. I didn't, but I had to do what I had to do. Next, you want to rinse off all of the soap, give it a nice once over. I start to do this, but realize that I'm not in a good area for the water to drain. So one thing I would recommend before you start cleaning your rug is make sure you know where you're going to go with it, where the water can rinse off. If you're taking it to a car wash, they have those drains that they can go. Some people have them in their garages. What I did is I ended up moving it to the end of the driveway, and ours would go downhill into the street, so the water had somewhere to run. Or if you put it on top of like a plastic table, you can hang it, leave it on top of there, and that actually might be great. It'd be easier than having to get down and scrub the rug. So there are options on here. I started here, and then I realized the water had nowhere to go. So here you're gonna see what not to do. See how all of the water is sitting there on top of the rug and not flying off? I struggled with not wanting to move it because we had everything set up to film, but I do end up moving it because it's not going to work. And this was a mistake for a first time that I will not make the second time. I go and move my rug. I did want to kind of release some of that water, and you can see the dirty water sitting to the right side of the rug, but I just went and took a makeshift squeegee that broke on me immediately. My husband does concrete for a living, and this is called a come away. And he leaves it at home, and I knew I had it. I use it for multiple other things, and So I used this for my squeegee, but I would recommend buying one if you can. But sometimes you got to do what you got to do. And then it breaks on me, but we're right in the middle of a soaking rug. I had no other option than to make it work. But I did clean up as much water as I could, and then I had to make a move. So after I moved my rug to an area where the water had some place to go, I rinsed it off. And this part took a while. I didn't do it completely 100% right here because I knew I was going to do another treatment on the rug with a carpet cleaner. So I did just spend a little bit of time rinsing it out, and I loved seeing the dirty water roll off the rug because I knew I had made a dent. So the next thing I did was try to get up a lot of that water off the rug so I could use the carpet cleaner. So I just did a quick squeegee on it with my makeshift squeegee. So you might be able to stop here and just rinse it really well and be done. However, I wanted to do a second treatment because I took a peek and I noticed a couple spots that weren't coming up and I really wanted them gone. So I grabbed my Resolve and I evenly sprayed it on top of the rug, and I just let that sit for about, I think I let it sit for about 5 minutes, but you don't need to let it sit too long. Then I came back and I gave it a big rinse, and this took me about, I think it was about 10 minutes said and done. You just want to keep rinsing it until all of the water runs without any product in it. So the water starts to run clear. You see all those bubbles running off? They eventually run to just clear water, and that's when you know you are there. But we'll go ahead and skip to the next part. After the rinse, you're going to follow it with squeegeeing as much excess water off the rug as you can get. It's going to hang and dry, but the goal is to not have it be dripping wet. Since my squeegee was broken, I did my best to get as much up as I could, but then I knew I was going to have to let the hang drying take over from there. So I hung my rug up and squeegeed out the remainder while it was hanging. I just went from one side to the other and got as much excess water up as I can to help my rug dry as fast as it could. Another thing you could do is clean the backside of your rug first before. I loved the way my rug turned out, so it's not a big deal that I didn't, but if you want to go that extra mile, by all means, go the extra mile. So I ended up having my rug sit out for about 12 hours. While your rug is sitting out, I would definitely recommend taking the time to clean it really good underneath because you're probably not going to lift that rug up again until the next time you clean it. I would also recommend cleaning it once a year.
After the rug is dry and the floor is clean, it is time to bring the rug home. Bring it on in. Maybe give it a shake just to see if anything had blown on it. And then roll it up and bring it in all the way to its final resting place. And I, of course, after I got it in, looked at it, admired it, and gave it one more vacuum for those pretty little lines and to pick up any debris that had fallen or got trapped to it between the move or while it was hanging on the fence. There is only one thing I would have done differently because I realized I could have done an extra step of cleaning, and I want to always be able to be the one that takes you to the next step. But I did not do it on this rug, and I don't know if I would do it on all the others unless I was feeling uber ambitious. I would flip the rug over and clean the bottom of the rug first, then flip over and do the top of the rug so that you can really clean through the fibers and really deep clean it. But I did not, and that is up to you. How deep do you want to go? So I mentioned that I would tell you something that would change the way you buy your rugs. And maybe it will, maybe it won't. Who knows? But it does for me 100%. So when you're buying a rug, you are usually typically looking at what would match in the room and go along with all your furniture, which is great. It makes perfect sense. But I'm going to tell you, there's two types of rugs in this world that I would buy one and not the other. And that is rugs that show every little piece of lint and dirt and anything that falls on it, and those that hide them. You know what I'm talking about? So anything that's like a solid color, flat rug, like the one on that I'm actually cleaned in this video, it actually would not be my first choice rug. I just got it for free and I managed to take care of it, and I can't really afford to go buy another one because there's more important stuff that I want to spend my money on. But this one shows everything, so I have to constantly vacuum it and it's constantly driving me insane. But the second type of rug is a busy rug. And what I mean by that is it's got all sorts of like decorations and movement, and here's a few to show you, but they're very cluttery, so you can't see a lot of debris and things falling on them. And they're gorgeous. But these kind of rugs right here are the best for buying because they don't look dirty. They are, but at least you don't have to see it constantly. It's not a reminder or something that can overwhelm you. At least that's how it is for me. Another kind of carpet that I should throw out there too that I really, really, really love is shag carpets. I feel like shag carpets hide everything. So I'm a big fan of shag and I'm a big fan of busy. Now I know the color and matching is super important, but just keep that in mind because it can really affect how you end up liking this rug. So I hope that helps. I really do. I know it wasn't a typical how-to cleaning, and I know that it really was a little bit of wackadoodle all over, but the truth is, if I go and try something, that's when I get better, and my failures are something that I can share with you and hopefully prevent you from doing it. And just seeing someone go and clean a rug like that kind of shows you like, well, if she can do it, you know, I can do it. Ain't that the truth? So I hope you enjoyed this. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel and give me a like if you learned something, if I taught you anything. And comment away. I'm here for you. So go ahead and subscribe because I will be back next week.